Hello, this is Gary Freed. I am the managing producer at Z-Axis Corporation. We created the computer animation for the following video that was produced by Hellowell Incorporated back in May of 1988 for the Federal Aviation Administration. It is one in a series of informational videos produced by the FAA for the aviation community. In addition to the computer animation, Z-Axis also provided the video production and editing. This program is about 10 minutes long and deals with the problem of aircraft collisions with vehicles or other aircraft on the ground.
Clipper 268 behind a US Air DC-9, runway 36, be a taxiway Charlie, hold straight runway 3. Piedmont 926, cross runway 3, good idle power on the other side, advise on this frequency and off the runway, traffic's 2 out. Eastern 696, you can start your taxi on the left-hand side of the ramp, there'll be a dash 8, you'll be pulling into taxiway Charlie ahead of you.
Okay, left side, thank you.
Henson 4014, follow the 727 ahead of you, use taxiway Charlie, hold straight runway 3 here.
Everybody involved with aviation knows how busy the air traffic system and our airports are these days. Every indicator that we use to measure this activity is up. There's no sign that they're peaking out. I'm Bill Hendricks, Director of the Office of Aviation Safety. Now, while this growth is good for aviation, there's also a downside that concerns us. This downside is the increase in runway incursions. Let's take a look at the problem.
Unfortunately, a lot of pilots and controllers consider a flight as that portion of a trip between the time the plane takes the runway and the pilot advances the throttles to the time the flight flares and touches down at its destination. But in point of fact, a safe flight also includes getting to and from the gate or parking area without incident. Regardless of whether you call it ground operations or surface operations, this phase of flight has become the focus of increasing attention as the number of incidents and accidents rise. By definition, a runway incursion is an occurrence involving an aircraft, vehicle, person, or object on the ground that creates a collision hazard or results in a loss of separation with an aircraft attempting to take off or land. Now, these events are classified into 3 clear-cut categories: so-called operational errors by controllers, mistakes, called deviations, by pilots, and instances where a ground vehicle encroaches on an active runway without proper clearance. There are several reasons for these problems. One is a breakdown in verbal communications, such as partial or incomplete radio transmissions, misunderstood instructions, interrupted instructions, the use of incorrect phraseology, a failure to read back or confirm instructions, or a lack of attention to routine tasks. Another cause is a breakdown in visual communications caused by failing to see that a runway is clear before using it to take off or land, not being absolutely positive of your location on the airport, lighting problems caused by glare or intensity, obscured or inadequate runway or taxiway signs, or blind spots on the airport surface which limit a controller's ability to observe all ground traffic. Let's look at an example of each of the 3 types of runway incursions. Early on the morning of September 9, 1987, Flight 426 was cleared by Atlanta Center for an ILS approach to runway 27 at a non-radar-controlled southeastern airport and instructed to contact the tower. Upon contact, the lone controller on duty advised them to report the outer marker. The weather was reported as indefinite ceiling, 200 feet obscured, 1 mile visibility with fog, wind calm. Near the same time, Flight 812 landed on runway 27 and was cleared by the tower to taxi back on the runway to a maintenance facility near the east end of the runway. According to the crew on final, although they had the field in sight at 500 feet, they didn't see the plane on the runway, and in spite of evasive maneuvers, struck the taxiing aircraft's vertical stabilizer. A subsequent investigation indicated that the inbound flight was already at or near the outer marker when it made its initial report, and the tower never received a later report of the flight's progress. The conclusion? Pilot deviation. A second incident occurred at a large western airport, which routinely operates with a dual east-west parallel runway configuration. On September 22, 1987, 85 Romeo had landed on 24 right and cleared the active runway with a clearance to taxi toward the transient parking area on the south side of the field, holding short of 25 left for clearance to cross. Approximately 30 seconds later, Flight 942 was issued a takeoff clearance on 25 right. Due to the layout of the airport, the taxiing aircraft was not visible from the tower as it moved between 24 left and 25 right, and having previously received clearance, continued across 25 right after the second plane had started its takeoff roll. As the aircraft on takeoff rotated, its right wheel impacted 85 Romeo's vertical stabilizer. The ensuing investigation revealed that mistaken assumptions by the local controller and poor communications between the ground and local controllers combined to produce a set of circumstances in which the result was virtually inevitable. The conclusion? Controller operational error. An example of the third most prominent type of runway incursion occurred on May 20th, 1987, when an inexperienced airport construction employee misdirected another contractor's vehicle. This resulted in the vehicle crossing an active runway at the same moment that an airplane was attempting to land. An investigation of the near accident came to the obvious conclusion: vehicular incursion.
As you can see, sometimes these problems are the result of a single clear-cut mistake in judgment or operational procedures. In other instances, the same pattern as other accidents seems to occur: a series of small mistakes that snowball into a catastrophic situation. Flight crews, controllers, everyone involved in operations around an airport needs to be aware of what can be done to reverse this increasing trend of runway incursions.
Flight crews can help by checking traffic before crossing or entering active runways, reading back instructions, even when it is not a required procedure, making certain that you're familiar with the airport layout before taxiing or landing, and turning on exterior lights to make the aircraft as visible and conspicuous as possible. Controllers can help by standardizing and improving the coordination between local and ground controllers, requesting a readback of instructions, using standard phraseology, and being extra cautious when a coordinator isn't on duty or when positions are combined. Airport operators can help by controlling access to the airport operations area, making sure that all drivers who operate on the airport operations area are aware of the procedures and rules, making certain that runway or taxiway signs are well placed, clean, unobscured, and well lit, and ensuring that NOTAMs are current and construction areas are well marked and lit. Support and maintenance personnel can help by making sure to obtain proper clearances before operating vehicles on runways or taxiways, and not only being extremely cautious when they are around aircraft, but also being aware of the problem and reporting potential hazards.
One last point. The growth of aviation means more aircraft, more construction, more ground operations, more congested radio frequencies. In short, all of the elements that could lead to even more runway incursions. It's a problem with no quick fix. So what we're asking is that everybody working in the system exercise just that extra bit of caution that could prevent an accident. Remember, aviation safety is everybody's business.